Everybody, and welcome to the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 140. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat if you're a subscriber over there. We'd love to have you in on the fun and the conversation. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, hashtag ad merch store. Get all of your swag over there. T-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand. Support us. We'd love you for it. Today, flying solo. Surprise, surprise. But, surprising, 3 topics today. Holy shit, I could think of a lot to talk about this week. Let's kick it off with another wrestling pay-per-view. Woo! Topic number 1. As of recording, Money in the Bank was last night. So, for the 3rd week in a row, you're going to hear my thoughts on wrestling pay-per-view. Whoopee! Overall, how was the Money in the Bank pay-per-view? Surprisingly, shocking. They didn't seem to follow the predictableness that WWE can have of like, yep, that person's going to win for sure. And it was nice. The pay-per-view seemed short, also nice, especially when most of these things go 3 to 4 hours. I think it was still 3 hours, but everything seemed very concise and nothing seemed to drag on, or there wasn't like 50 matches we needed to get through. So, pace was good. Results were good. I know some people are a little controversial on some of them, but I thought overall this was a really good pay-per-view. Good time, especially maybe from my perspective, low expectations going into this, so maybe that helped as well. So overall, match-wise, we had 6 matches. You could technically count a 7th, but we'll get into that later. We had the women's Money in the Bank match. We had Lashley and Theory going after the U.S. title match, or U.S. championship. We had Bianca Belair defending her title against Carmella for the women's championship. Usos going against the Street Profits for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Ronda Rousey defending against Natalya for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And then we had the men's Royal Rumble. The men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So, let's get on into it. Opening up the pay-per-view was the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. You had Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Lacey Evans, Raquel Rodriguez, Shotzi, and Liv Morgan all going for the briefcase here. How was this match? I will say okay. Ladies definitely were given time to do their stuff, and I feel like most of the ladies were given opportunities to shine, which I appreciate. Especially Shotzi and especially Raquel Rodriguez being, I'd say out of this crew, definitely the more newer talent. Raquel just got called up from NXT maybe a month or 2 ago, and then Shotzi was called up but hasn't been doing much, to be honest. So, how was the match overall? It was fine. Like I said, happy they got their time, happy they got these spots. Why was it fine? Well, it wasn't the smoothest of things, if I'm being honest. Now, is that anything a non-professional wrestler should be saying at all? Probably not. I can criticize how it looks, but I can't say it's easy or anything like that. Duh. Not that I am. Some stuff didn't go as planned. Number 1, like I said, we tried to give Raquel some stuff to kind of highlight her. Very tall woman, very strong. Let's have her lift up multiple opponents. Great. So, the whole thing, the spot that they did, there was a ladder on the ground, and Liv got knocked out on one end and was draped over it, and then Becky got knocked out and was draped over the other side. So Raquel's moment was to take the ladder and seemingly like deadlift. I'm a weightlifter. I know that terminology. Deadlift the ladder up and like have both of them draped on each side like dumbbells. Would this help her win the match? No, but it would have looked cool. So, in execution, didn't go great. I don't know if it was just uneven. The way that Raquel had kind of positioned herself, it was off center. I think it was maybe one rung just favoring one of the sides. So she attempted to lift it, and I don't know if it was just a balance thing, but she struggled with it and didn't really get too high off the ground. So the moment in itself kind of didn't look great. So we had that. Okie dokie, no big deal. It's hard to be strong, you know, in these weird situations that you don't do all the time. Makes sense. Fine, I'll let it go. Next thing that didn't go super great was a moment with Shotzi and a moment with Liv Morgan. So Raquel got a target on her back because she's tall, she's strong. Makes sense. Let's focus our energy on this person, chop them down, take out that threat. So Raquel is trapped in the corner via ladder. She's kind of pinned in there. So Raquel's in the corner. Ladder is against her chest, and the other side of the ladder kind of makes a ramp, seemingly going to her face. Shotzi decides to run up the ladder, drop kick, elbow, just decides to run up, hit her, and then go on her merry way. Well, there's these holes in the ladder, not the easiest to run up. So she attempts to run up by stepping on like where the rungs would be, unfortunately slips and doesn't get all of her elbow, axe handle, whatever strike she was trying to do. So that looked iffy. Okay, so Liv decides, hey, I'm going to do it. I don't recall off the top of my head if she hit Raquel or if she dove outside. She did it fine. However, very timidly she went here. I guess the best description I could say is like, you know how Bambi walks or a baby deer walks when they're first learning? Oh boy, that was that. Very step. I get it. It's a tough thing to do. Did not look great. So, either A, we should practice these spots beforehand so we're a little bit more confident in that. B, don't do them at all. Alright? Now, I get it. Nerves are going. It's a big event. A lot of people watching. Things happen. Things happen regardless, whether you practice, not. Just didn't look swell. So, I would have, suggested doing something different there. I will give props to one really cool moment that the ladies did. So Raquel's at the top of the ladder, and she's reaching for the briefcase. Duh, that's how you win. Lacey Evans comes up behind her and is essentially like climbing over her back to reach the briefcase as well. Raquel kind of knocks her off. Liv comes up the other side of the ladder, punches them both. Lacey will fall down the back of Raquel just slightly, and now Liv and Raquel are kind of fighting it out. Raquel's going to get the upper hand, and she is going to propel Liv over her head and over her back, launching her, off the ladder. So what does Liv do? Liv recovers by going over Raquel's head, over Lacey's head, and grabbing Lacey on the way down, and giving her, the sunset flip powerbomb that we've seen 1-to-1, but she went over Raquel and grabbed the second person. Really cool. Went well. That could have went very poorly and been unsafe, but execution was good there. Looked really cool. We got a great moment out of it. As for the rest of the match, pretty basic stuff here. Everybody, like I said, did get their shots in. And then we get, I'd say, our first surprise of the evening, as Liv Morgan will take the win here and win the women's the contract for the championship match. So good for her. I know they've been trying to give her a push for a while, having her in storylines, having her against these higher ranking superstars in the women's roster. So good for her. She got this moment. Let's see what she can do with that. ... Second match is going to be Bobby Lashley against Theory for the United States Championship match. Guys did well here. This was another surprise to me. Theory's been the golden boy for Vince and WWE since he's been kind of called up to the main roster this second time. So I thought, okay, this is easy. They're setting up Theory and Cena apparently, so that will go to SummerSlam, and then we'll figure out if Theory's winning against Cena or Cena's winning there, whatever the case. However, in a twist of events, Lashley defeats Theory by submission. He beat him with the Master Lock, whatever the fuck that move is called, I don't remember. Beats him with that, taps out Theory, and he's going to win. The Hurt Lock, that's what they're calling it. My bad. So, wow, okay, Lashley won here. What's going on with Theory? Apparently there's rumors maybe Cena won't be at SummerSlam, and maybe this rivalry pushed to Mania. I don't know if that's because of this, or if because the Cena thing is happening at SummerSlam, and they're like, let's put the title on somebody else. We don't need the title on that match. Who knows? Who cares? Lashley wins here, taking the title away from Theory. Fine match. Nothing too fancy. Next one's going to be Bianca Belair against Carmella for the Raw Women's Championship. Shortest match of the night. Shortest planned match of the night at 7 minutes, 10 seconds. Didn't seem that short, but Carmella's good. Fills the role that is needed here as Rhea Ripley, RIP, could not compete. Not medically cleared. That would have been a great match. Fills the spot. Honestly, like, kind of boosted herself. Like, I don't know. I felt like Carmella was more of a player with how she was set up for this program instead of just, like, cannon fodder as she's been in the past year or two. Fine match. Bianca retains. Not so shocking or surprising here. Then we get the best match of the night. We get the Usos against the Street Profits. And boy, howdy, did these guys go at it. 23 minutes even, apparently. Just a solid performance by all four of these guys. Apparently, commentary was saying Street Profits are kind of at each other's heels a little bit, or whatever the terminology is. They're not happy with each other. I didn't see any of that at all in this match, so I'm not sure why we're trying to plant those seeds or why that was brought up. Guys did great. Went totally back and forth the entire time between Usos and Profits. And unfortunately, in a way, Usos are going to retain here for the Undisputed Tag titles, but they win it in shady fashion. So the way the initial count and camera angle was seen from an audience perspective, we did not see that Montez's Ford's shoulder was up. Through replays, they did show it that Montez was clearly had his shoulder up the entire count. So we're just setting up, obviously, for the next thing. Does this mean Profits will win it at SummerSlam? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know if this is the time to start crumbling the bloodline. But honestly, like I said, all four of these guys did a fantastic job. The crowd was really into it the entire time with the near falls and the finishes and stuff like that. So this is a good program. I'm happy it's going longer. Just very odd that, like, if we're trying to think of this realistically, that the referee wouldn't pay attention to that kind of thing. Like, he's focused on the one shoulder, but then the other one's just, you could slide a beach ball under that thing and he doesn't even care. Just odd. But we get the workaround that we can keep this story going. So we get that. Okay, now we got Ronda Rousey defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Natalya. Did I watch this one? No. Gonna be honest, I skipped this one. All 12 and a half minutes of it. Thank you, replay. So I don't know what happened in this match. I'm sure Natalya did great. I'm sure Ronda did something. Yeah, Ronda retains. Okay, whoopee-doo. She wins via submission. And then we get the second surprise of the evening as Liv's going to come out and cash in her SmackDown, cash in her Money in the Bank to get the opportunity at the SmackDown Women's Championship. Ooh, got scary there for a second as Ronda's going to put Liv in an armbar, almost tap out. Liv's going to kick her in the knee, which I guess was worked during her match. And get a roll-up, 1, 2, 3. Liv Morgan is the new SmackDown Women's Championship, or champion. So yeah, surprise there, because earlier she gave a little promo saying that she was going to just take her time and think about it, and for right now she's just going to celebrate. So to see her out there, great. They did try and keep Ronda popular in the face as she shook her hand and then raised her hand after she won. Blah, blah. But yeah, Liv wins. Good for her. Congrats. Thank God. And then we get the men's Money in the Bank match. So, Drew McIntyre, Madcap Moss, Omos, Riddle, Sami Zayn, Seth frickin' Rollins, and Sheamus, joined by a late 8th entry into the match, Theory. Hey, all right. So Theory gets added to the match by Adam Pearce. Gentleman did fine. Gentleman did a good job here. Almost looked like a threat, as he is. Got taken out at one point by all participants through the announcer's table. And then I'd say the other only cool moment of this match was Riddle hitting like I think it's called the floating bro, but like a twist of fate, the twisting front flip off of the ladder onto the group down below. Cool moment for him. He also hit an RKO out of nowhere. I don't remember if that was off a ladder or not. But Riddle is going to climb the ladder, grab the briefcase. Theory's going to get in an altercation with him at the top, push him off, leaving Theory on his own on top of the ladder and grabbing the Money in the Bank briefcase. So this is where everybody starts to bitch and complain. Now, granted, I get it. Oh, he's a heel. Guess what? You're supposed to hate him. Good. Late entry. Didn't qualify like the rest of these guys, and people are like, oh, you're forcing him down our throats. Okay. One, I get it. I felt that way about Roman Reigns ages ago, right? Just Roman. Roman's come around, especially with the heel persona, the bloodline, all that shit. I like him now. I like what they're doing with him. Theory. I like Theory. I've seen a lot of his stuff on NXT. I didn't care for his first main roster attempt. Nothing really interesting there. But once he went back to NXT and was in the way with Gargano, LeRae, and Indy Hartwell, it was great. It's good stuff. Is this current iteration of Austin Theory the same as The Way's Austin Theory? No. However, I like it. He can wrestle. Hasn't really messed up at all, as far as I can tell, so like he's not nervous in the situation, which is good. So his performances have been solid. Also, once again, he's a heel. He's a bad guy. So we are supposed to hate him. We are supposed to be annoyed by this situation. So all this is working as part of the story. Oh, that he's around and kind of in everything. Now, the question becomes this. What is he going to do with his briefcase? Is he going to take down Roman Reigns? I would say no. My thoughts and theories on Theory. Shut up, Peanut Gallery. What's going to go on with that? So, I don't think he's going to beat Roman. Do I want him to? Yes, but only because it takes a main title off of Roman and we can have a world title match at pay-per-views again, and it's not this weird awkwardness where they're not around. That's the only reason. That could be literally anybody taking it off of Roman, and through the Money in the Bank briefcase, I think it still kind of protects Roman in this God mode bloodline thing, because anybody could do it. It could be the cheap shot after, he just wrestled 30 minutes against Brock, whatever the fuck it is. It protects him. It's not like he lost legitimately in this super strong character that we've built for so long. So, I guess under those pretenses, I'm kind of talking myself out of the situation where I think Theory's going to win. But if that's what they wanted to do, I think it's a safe way to do it. Now, if Theory doesn't cash in against Roman, if I'm going back on my original train of thought, when does he cash in? Great question. He's got a full 365 with this thing, so it's flexible, Maybe he does wait until someone else takes down Roman. I don't think this year. Is this year Hollywood for WrestleMania? It might be. If it is, does Dwayne come back, as we've been rumored for ages, and then we get the Samoan family against the Samoan family, and then maybe The Rock, beats Roman, and then he has a title, and then maybe Theory capitalizes on him. Maybe that wouldn't be such a big deal because, well, Dwayne's a movie star. He's got to go work on his next movie. The world title kind of ties him down a little bit, so you could get the title off of Dwayne in that situation. That's an option. Second option, we already talked about Super Cena making his return and having a feud against Theory. Is this going to be a situation where the Money in the Bank gets put up on the line like we've seen in the past with Mr. Kennedy and I believe Edge? I don't know. Miz won it from somebody one year. Like, is this a situation like that where he loses it in a match to someone else and then they go on and they cash it in? Maybe? I thought that was always stupid that they put the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line and defended that like a championship. But, they could do that. It's certainly an option. So I don't know. I think it's a good heel tactic move, like I said, to kind of keep Theory in there and not just have him fall to dust after losing this championship. And that's another thing too. I guess if we want to go the third route, maybe Theory fails at his cash in. Maybe he cashes in against. Well, I still don't think it would be Roman, unless, is this cheap way to keep Roman safe but get a title back in the picture. If it's a cash in and he fails, that's already happened in the men's division. The ladies, it has not. They're still 100% on their Money in the Bank briefcase, but you give him this obviously the opportunity of like main title picture, so it puts people in people's heads of like, yeah, he belongs there. But then it's also the satisfaction from fans that, oh, he failed kind of thing. Like, yeah, the bad guy got his comeuppance or whatever. So we'll have to see. It's hard to say, obviously. We're only one day out from the pay-per-view. Hard to say what will happen. Do I think Theory is world championship material? I don't know about right now, but I can see it down the road. And I think that's why I'm hesitant, is like, I don't know about right now. They are building his character and have certainly built it to be something that is on, obviously, the weekly programming and to make us kind of care or at least talk about him. But I don't know if he's at that point just yet. So, we'll see. Time will tell. I don't know if the whole Vince situation will kind of throw a little bit of a wrench into this. He's still technically in charge of creative, so that doesn't change too much. But maybe, who knows? Who knows? And this could also be an audible from, like, once again, the Cena situation. Maybe Cena isn't fighting him at SummerSlam. That's why he's like, oh, let's free up the U.S. title and put this on him so he's still relevant, but he's not. We could still do some other stuff with the U.S. title, if that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, time will tell. Time will tell what's going on with this thing. Other stuff that happened at Money in the Bank. I will say there was 2 other moments of this show. One, a negative. One, I'd say a positive. Okay, WWE, stop trying to sell your stupid credit card. People hate it. They had a stupid promo segment with Alexa Bliss in the back, and Lily bought us a bunch of stuff apparently with the WWE credit card and got Alexa Bliss these tiny little ass roller skates. Stupid. Crowd hated it. They were booing the shit out of it. So, that was dumb. Second, the good thing. We get a little bit of a promo, a little bit of a vignette, no details, no wording, anything like that. Some people thought it was The Fiend because of the creepy kind of imagery that was used. However, with people going back and kind of looking at it a little bit more, it seems like it is the Radar Superstar Edge. We saw glimpses of Jeff Hardy's armbands, Kurt Angle's Olympic medal, Eddie Guerrero's Latino Heat license plate, and then I think the Dudley's glasses were in there. So, obviously I get the Dudley reference. Obviously I get the Hardy reference. I guess I get the Angle reference because him and Kurt Angle kind of were in a thing. Maybe I'm missing something, part of my wrestling knowledge. I don't get the Eddie Guerrero toss in there, but whatever. So Edge already making his return after being thrown out by Judgment Day and Finn Balor taking over the group. What will be his character going forward after Judgment Day didn't work out for him? Hard to say. Another one of those things I guess we'll just have to wait and watch and see what happens. But those are the only two things other than the matches that really happened. I guess if you want to talk WWE news, I'm sure Peanut Gallery will love when I say this, but Logan Paul has signed with WWE. Yikes. Apparently him and Miz are going to fight each other at SummerSlam. Do I give a shit? No. Do I want him in this company? No. But whatever.
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, Bad Bunny. Yeah, bring him back. Yeah. I don't know. So there's Money in the Bank. There's my thoughts on that.